you know, it is what it is.
In the end, he talked about love one another.
Yeah, but your father had a penis. So what's the problem? And you were married to a penis.
All right, okay, that's enough.
I mean,
That's enough, she said. She said that's enough. All right. We'll be slicing and dicing some of the reaping, as I like to call it, some Paul Vanderklay today. In Great and Mighty Grim Grizz. Titles say so much about target demo. Game A as hierarchical Constantinian Christendom versus Game B as egalitarian rebellion. Sweet mercy. All right. Previously on the Bridges of Meaning Discord Q&A with Pastor Paul Vanderklay.
And Rick, my manager. Are you my manager, Rick? I think Rick's my manager. Rick's also the
Handler.
producer of this fine program. Rick is also produces the
It's called Handler. Handler. What else is on here?
Stone stream. So there are all kinds of titles for Rick. It makes him absolutely zero money. But Rick says that next week, let's try it next week. Next week we'll do our question and answer, not but on YouTube directly. I don't know exactly how Rick is planning on this. Chad, if you're not watching Chad the Alcoholic's Bridges of Meaning news, you're really missing out. And in fact, this week,
Bridges of Meaning Hub. Look, that's how you find it. Cut. All right. And you started the Bridges of Meaning Hub channel. Go.
Hub channel. My name's Chad the Alcoholic.
is noted. I tweeted out a terrific imitation of the other symbolic world from Chris Petkau, as Chad the Alcoholic likes to say. And
Chris Petkau. Oh, this one's probably scary.
Check. Hello. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. The name of this song is called Staring Into the Abyss. Yeah. Sky, Father, help me, I'm losing my...
But look, also, he's working on some, he's doing some open source cognitioning here
Who could have
himself.
seen this coming?
Sad. A lot of it's very intuitive.
The world is a wound-up clock running out.
Survival, we get a 10. Social, lucky number 13. Wisdom, 16. And heart, 16. 4 chambers, 4 cylinders. There we go. There's the savings throws.
Doing some real fun work. I decided to, I needed to have a deeper conversation with Chad, so that's coming next week. I'm also having a conversation with John Vervaeke next week, so that should be coming out.
Ask him what part of the relevance realization is going askew in a conspiracy theorist's mind.
Gave me the thumbs up. All right, on to the questions. Shane, whatever it means to be conscious, if we are part of the body of Christ, hands, feet, toes, hair, to what degree?
I am the cloven foreskin of the body of... Wait a minute. That's not right. Where's the important parts? I guess I could let him finish that sentence.
Hey, that's a cool question. I don't know. We'll give it a little thumbs up. Then move on. Gavin Palmer. Gavin Palmer's also been doing some commentary. And
publicly. That's Gavin Palmer is the hero LFG, by the way. Look at it. Look at his smiley face, man. Random sampling.
If I were to ask you, let's say
He's juggling. That's him juggling down there.
Ask you for a detailed description of the difference between 1500 and 1600, well, there's just way too combinatorial explosiveness. There's just way too much reformation. Boom, 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 boom. All of this comes in the 16th century. And
all of his content. And this is good. If you want to be a leader, I think you should be recording your content and your versions. As you learn and grow, there's different versions of yourself. The more information, the better. And then there's a technique. So if I were to run for president.
Well, you know, we've worked our way into your consciousness, Congress. We're part of the amateur light web. You won't call the amateur light web. That's what I think. But Mark Lefebvre's channel is called Mark of Wisdom B, and it doesn't. Hey, there you are in the yoga studio. That's Shane's channel. What? Look, guys, it's Shane's channel.
Mark Lefebvre.
Lefebvre.
And then it went crazy. That's good.
Okay. If maybe I'll just we'll do like a solid.
Shout out, Shane. Keep at it there, buddy. All right.
I'm glad you're back, but keep it down, because today, what I'm talking about, once again, are conspiracy theories. They're different types.
His Discord is Mark of Wisdom. His channel is Navigating Patterns. Sorry, Mark. You know how it is. But you use the flower of life.
I really like the way this little... So the Randos have been around a while, and I think they're still going strong. I've watched some Randos videos this week. I thought their video treatment of Rise and Fall of Mars Hill was absolutely amazing. I might spend some time and even do a commentary video on that video this week because I thought it was so good.
We want to talk about the U-shaped journey. We already started talking a bit. Sherry's got her coffee.
So let's see. I'm gonna go I'm flying blind here. I don't have any script, so I have ideas but no script. So what do we have here?
It's really funny. Stuff is so hard, but it's a great question. And I would say, if you want to be a better father, pay attention. First, pay attention to your children and your wife and your family, and pay attention to your friends and others as they father, and try and absorb some of the good mapping from them and try things out and see how they go. Good fathers challenge their children to grow and put boundaries around their children, and sometimes frustrate their children, and in that frustration drive them to be greater than they would be if they had no father. So what I'm going to do for you is, while that's going on, I'm going to give you a recursion, and probably an embarrassing recursion.
Australia believes this position respects both our commitment to a two-state solution and long-standing respect for relevant Security Council resolution.
And the arms deal is super, super sweet. So, with between the U.S. doing that move a while back, which nobody paid attention to, and then these guys doing this now, yesterday, and I also hear that they reconsecrated the altar or whatever. What came back to my mind was this. The UFO that was seen in 2011 over Jerusalem. And what I found when I looked into that enough to make because that was pretty impressive to me. But when I did look into that, I found a group led like this guy documented the entry into the generators into the mount. Sources in the Jerusalem Municipality Supervision Department told the Temple Heritage Fund that the municipality had not given permission to bring the generators, and they were informed of the matter by Abel Roif, commander of the Old City Police.
Suns appear in rainbows, and beams were coming out of where the Temple Mountain is. And I thought, at the beginning, I thought maybe it was a sign because we were going to pray and so on, and storm in the heavens. Well, it turned out that I had no peace when I came back. I even asked the people. People were confused, very distraught. And although I kept asking people, what does this mean? The king of Jordan, Abdullah, I think is his name, and he ordered to put a mega generator up on the mountain, and he's doing holograms.
Really?
And I saw it. I saw it with
It's
my own
hologram.
eyes.
So there is a real
Yes.
hologram.
And then I went and dig some more, because when I am in a hot pursuit, I got to get to the bottom. I have to go to the bottom. And I looked some more, and then I found out it has to do with CERN.
CERN?
Yes, with CERN.
In what sense?
Because CERN has made headquarters all around the world
I couldn't
to
verify that. I tried
synchronize
yesterday.
with when they are ready to do what they're supposed to do.
So
Okay.
there's a CERN.
So the headquarters for the Middle East is in Jordan.
Wow. Wow. That's news to me.
Me too. I'm shocked.
Have you seen the Pentecostal movement? Do you go to their churches? It's all this thinking. Pentecostals are like, if we're going to talk a lot, we're going to speak in tongues, baby. Pentecostalism gives modernity the finger and says, I don't care about your status hierarchy. I'm going to be slain by the Spirit. I'm going to run around and act like a chicken, and you can bring your cameras in and laugh at me, and I don't care. We're going to take over this world, and we're going to do it by power and power of the Holy Spirit. And God bless them, because they are doing it. I love the Pentecostals. There's a really good video on the internet of the Weird Al Yankovic song in which cheese pizza is deeply connected with constipation. So every time I see a cheese pizza, I think about song. There's my answer. Cheese pizzas for children. It's a
That was deftly done, Paul. Deftly done.
lovely thing.
Got to hold you publicly accountable and include it in the one that's not the live stream.
And so I've been deeply blessed by all of you. So watch Mark Lefebvre's channel. Mark is, I haven't sent out the
Hey, once again, ladies and gentlemen, you can get there by going to the Grim Grizz channel you're already on, under videos, and following the link at the end of the teaser trailer where I go, rawr. Look, I'll show you.
I want to do I want to do a group video with Chad the Alcoholic, Griswold Grim, and Mark Lefebvre. I want the four of us to do a video. How's that? Are you guys up for that?
There is an opportunity, because a strange thing is happening in culture, because the bright light of Christ is no longer so visible. All of a sudden, these small sparkles are starting to appear hidden in the cavern walls.
Amen. Thank you for saying that. Sometimes I start listening to these things and it's like, well, I'll put on the sleep timer on my podcast app and I'll definitely fall asleep. Darn it.
Don't you think it's dangerous to be putting things in your ear holes as you slip out of consciousness? Doesn't that give the things you're putting in your ear holes at that time like special access to delicate portions of your subconscious?
The only way that evil actually achieves any sort of reality is it uses physical systems to do it. It nucleates physical systems and uses their structure, their power structures, their hierarchies in order to be realized.
Hello, Internet. I need a Christian to do this, Paul. I need like the Christian version of the Alien Salience. And it's just like, you play D&D, so like the Alien Salience project is, okay, you're playing D&D and you're the Christian guy. You wake up in a weird room and there's a being made of light And they're like, hey, what was it like being human? And then like a 6 to 8 minute video added to the collaborative playlist. It should, and I don't, there's no filtering. It's, you guys do whatever you want, but we got some good ones. This one was nice.
This planet is dominated by a species of upright bipedal organisms that we will refer to as humans, and for which they also identify themselves as. These humans occupy various geographical and climatological conditions that seem to have a significant impact on the manners in which these humans tend to organize, as humans create opportunities to preserve, fundamentally and essentially in the very beginning, to preserve food stores in any type of fashion. Then we soon get this measure of quote-unquote civilizing effect, which for humanity has almost completely rested in the coercive enterprise model design that societies such as yours may have went through, or maybe somehow you've avoided that stage. But
Welcome. I don't know why the universe has delivered you to us. Welcome. I don't think you're here by accident. This is the Alien Salience Project collaborative playlist. Hello. Oh, that hum at the beginning is so hard. Here's the Chris Petkau response. I'm asking for Christian responses, and here's one. But, you know, I think he was on mushrooms at the time or something.
My fish in my fish tank. And just, you know, I'd come by, and they knew me because they knew I represented food. But from their perspective, all they knew was probably that some type of blurry, psychedelic, weird being was walking up to them and dropping little fish flakes from the sky into their bowl. And all they knew is, oh, well, that's where the food is. And so they go straight to it.
And me, I want to read something, since I have attentions that I don't normally have. There was a thing I got in an email today from a very special person. And I don't know, it's valuable. Meanwhile, click on my Substack.
We were in a fish tank. They didn't know that I was keeping the water clean for them. They didn't really seem to understand that I was observing them. Although they seemed to have a sense, especially when I would give them food. And so this seems to be our best guess as to what reality is that we're in a fish tank. We just assumed our leaders knew what was going on, but they don't know what's going on. And that's kind of becoming really clear. And so we're kind of freaking out because we have all this technology. We're looking at ourselves in the mirror and we're just like, whoa, do I exist? Or like, what's going on? And if I do, why? And what's this all about?
The substance or action does not matter. It is simply a tool to fix a problem, a very real problem of discomfort resulting from higher than average brain function that is oftentimes utilizing different parts of the brain than average humans. The substance or action serves as a way to numb the emotional and spiritual weakness and discomfort that accompanies the higher developed cognitive functions. The individual will continue this behavior until it is turned into full addiction. It serves as a substitute for emotional and spiritual well-being. It's a crutch, and if you can't operate, if your leg is broken, it's okay to use a crutch until it heals, but you have to make sure it's healing, or you just gimp along on the substance. I don't know, something to think about.
Locked inside of time, and we don't understand how that worked.
Part of the really wonderful thing about this IDW corner.
Oh, this part, good. I'm glad. So here. Let me wave my arms in front of you for this one. It's like this. Peterson shoots off like a rocket and hits Rogan. And then, like, Thiel and crew sweep in and, like, sell him off to CAA on the book tour. And they make this IDW thing. And, like, the algorithm is, like, starved because it's got, like, I don't know, at least Rogan's cubicle rats, right? All waiting, starving for the content. And so it's eating everything Peterson, and they capitalize it with the IDW. And it makes this little circular people that they call them useful idiots in intelligence terms. That, like, anyway, so that's this ring. And then when the IDW dissolved out, there's this remaining amateur light web ring. And then Peterson comes back in and, like, maybe swoops up Pageau. I don't know what's real. I'm still, there's a blind elephant here.
Even though a bunch of IDW people aren't really good at being IDW, is that they're sort of leftists who have recognized the limitations of their leftism. It is amazing listening to Brett Weinstein and Heather Hying sound like conservatives on their podcast.
Is it, sir?
Freaky.
Is it, sir? That would be the Dark Horse podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
The elephant in the room increasingly is properly preparing with vitamin D, for example, right? This is the lowest hanging fruit on the tree, and yet we don't recommend it, which suggests that we are not actually all that concerned at the public health level. We are apparently either completely inept or not that concerned about your actual health, and we're doing other things.
I would say, so obviously adding things to a list that is the simplest makes it less simple, but
What are you looking at there, Brett? Counting the telomeres?
To encourage supplementation.
Oh, sorry, guys. I'm a popular... Look, I'm addicted to my device as you are.
Because they've believed something that, is not true. And
let's apply this, sir, if you don't mind. If you'll allow me, sir. Let's apply this to the case of aspartame. This drug that gets not approved 16 times by the FDA. And then Rumsfeld gets in, and suddenly it's in your Diet Coke and everybody's fine with it. Is that a conspiracy? That's not the part. That's not the part. But that's why you should watch that. The part is this thing. It's like, hi, I'm a malignant narcissist. I want nothing more than your time and attention to use to my own devices because, frankly, you're a cow person just wasting your time and attention anyway. So, I don't have a conspiracy to do this. I'm not. I am just ineptly, accidentally using you for my own gain. Whoops! Come on. Never assume malevolence. What can be attributed to ignorance. Come on, never a truth. I'm not being... No, I'm just stupid. I'm inept, guys. I'm not taking advantage.
And Jordan Peterson now, waving the flag of conservatism. And it's like, dude, you're not a conservative. Well, you're kind of one now, but... And that's happening all over the place. And, part of it's happened in me because I'm sure a bunch.
Yes, aspartame. It's I think it's AME, but it's how they do 0 calories. It's the artificial sweetener. They tested it on rats.
We're going to test to see whether or not I'm correct that the portal can be used to augment the usual channels.
When I went into the literature, what I found was that people had played around in the neighborhood, but that there was a particular fact which blocked every attempt to make sense of what was going on. And the fact was that rodents were understood to have ultra-long hypervariable telomeres. I got to pause. I realize I forgot to tell you one thing Carol told me in my first phone call with her that's vital. In addition to telling me that there was something funny about muspretus. She told me that, consistent with the hypothesis that I was conveying to her, that all mice die of cancer. She said, if you let them live long enough and then you do the necropsy, you find cancer of one kind or another. And that was perfectly consistent because they had these wildly long telomeres and no cancer protection. That would be the prediction of the hypothesis.
That's an extrapolation. It's not really all mice. It's all mice that we see in the lab, which happens to be the mice that are ordered.
Right. She was still speaking from the mindset of somebody who thought that the mice she was getting in the mail were representative of mice in the wild.
Got it.
Okay. So let me.
And because of the distributed metacognition going on in the amateur light web corner of the internet, Chad the Alcoholic has provided to me through the Broken Clock Tower Discord this. Further inquiry at Jack's, in its efforts to fully characterize the mice it uses in its own research and distributes to the global biomedical community, has revealed that telomere length varies between mouse species and subspecies. Length is not determined by whether a mouse is inbred or wild-derived, and it is not affected by how long an inbred strain has been domesticated. So that's apparently the official response to the clearly baseless allegations by the Weinstein Bros. Oh shoot, man! Did you catch the Paul Vanderklay Q&A guest hosted by Jonathan Pageau? Boy, howdy! Let me tell you boys about this one. This is the fun thing: is trying to find something on Paul's channel. Wait. Surely there's a Q&A playlist, right? There's a wow, there might be a lot of playlists. I like how they touch on Jordan Peterson. Touching. See, even trying to find the Q&A from the Q&A playlist. Only 5 mentions of Pageau. I should be able to find it now.
There can be a complete and absolute disjunct with the way you manifest in the system and the way that you exist in reality. And I think that this played itself out in their own narrative. And so I've heard one of I forget which Wachowski, I forget their name, which one is which, but I heard one of them recently speaking about the relationship between their transitioning and the Matrix, and talking about this idea of freedom and the idea of creativity, that you create yourself, and that they have embarked on a let's say path where they are creating themselves, and they're not, you could say something like, they're not bound to the authority of the world telling them who they are. And so I think that it makes total sense in their vision of the Matrix and their own story that they would end up where they are. I think that their story isn't over. They're probably will transition into something else at some point.
Nej, sorry.
There's some sound coming from somewhere. I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah. Let's see.
Probably the guy who asked the question.
Were you going to add something?
See, they dodged the second question. Why are you so adamantly opposed to paintball for Jesus?
Ridiculous. Look, Immanuel Kant said it was okay, that killing illegitimate children was okay. And he apparently never changed that view after coming up with his philosophy, moral structure, ethic, whatever it is. I would say, therefore, it's a bad moral philosophy or an ethic. And his experiment to, because science was, quote, successful, to usurp philosophy and then have philosophy not be the, quote, handmaiden of religion is a failure. And it hasn't been done since him. I don't know why people are still trying. Maybe it just can't be done. I think that's a good argument.
I think that's a great point. I don't know how many of the other comments you read in my video, but a number of people came out in the comments and basically said, he's not really being fair to Kant on this illegitimate child thing. I agree with you 100% that Kant's approach to ethics and philosophy has been a complete failure.
The left has to embrace Kant. They can't reject him for killing illegitimate child and be pro-choice at the same time. So, I mean,
and what sort of really grabbed my attention about the Rationality Rules video, especially once I started getting into Hans Georg Mueller.
Oh, here's a bonus since you showed up, Paul. Here's a special bonus from the Discord. I have this social memory complex room where, like, pivotal moments. I should be dropping a lot of these things in here. Check this out. Here's a painful recursion again. Oh, where is it?
I've been inspired by this man before you to make a YouTube channel. And so I wanted to interview him and get like his sense of the community. And
I needed to cut to the JBP crying about so little motivation.
Man before you to make a YouTube channel. And so I wanted to interview him and get like his sense of the community. And I wanted to know his story, his YouTube story, how he got to be where he is and what that ride was like, what I might be getting myself into. So I asked him for an interview and ta-da.
How exciting. All right, great. Are you live on your channel? That's what I was wondering. Right now?
I don't think I have the bandwidth to pull that off, to be honest.
Okay.
But I am, I should be hosting this through the hosting Twitch stuff, so maybe that channel's up and running too.
Okay, cool. All right, well, I'm ready.
Hey, can I call you Nathan?
Nathan's a good name.
I did an interview with Isaac Capper yesterday, and I came off on him. I went way lighter than most of me wanted to. So I'm trying to reel that in before I come at you. But let me first ask you, have you ever worked for a government agency on a covert basis?
No. Can I elaborate? Say that I haven't worked. Let me think though, just to make sure. If I worked for a government agency, I worked for a federal credit union once, which is, protected by the FBI. No, I don't
That's
think
why I
I
added the covert part.
Sweet Mamba Jamba, boys and girls. This is quite literally, apparently, 1 day late and the dollar short of exactly 3 years ago when this was uploaded.
Are you aware of any other intentional mental programming that you've been subjected to?
Not recently.
Are you at all triggered by the phrase "save the cheerleader"?
I don't know. I don't know if anything just happened, but I don't feel anything different.
All right, that's good.
Wow. No, but like notice how like at the beginning he's drinking from a drink with a straw, and then I ask him about his name and he drinks out of a glass mason jar. I'm telling you, man. Oh, I don't even remember what I was going through. This is why we were doing this. It turns out like whatever I chop this into will come out, but like the actual embarrassing previously on Paul Vanderklay's Q&A, like the humiliate you troll meme thing is I gotta do that. I have to sit and sift through it, and like I might come back with the timestamps, but I gotta finish that rats thing And but it's gonna be really good, man. I'm not gonna be able to whatever anything for it because of MGM, but like his story maps, like basically there's this part where so this Bisbee mouse, her kid is sick, and so she goes to the smart mouse doctor man, and he gives her an envelope, and so the envelope looks just like Brett's paper, and then she takes the paper to the crow, and he's all tied up in red string, and then so that maps to when he's talking about the, you know, like when he tries to publish in Nature and then has to go through ostentatious geriatry or whatever instead. And it's just, I mean, it's all there. I mean, I got the storyboard for it in my head. It's just a lot. And I have to figure out how to do that one scene backwards and stuff. But anyway, folks, thanks for being here, being virtually not alone with the rest of us. And I usually take these unlisted, but I'll wait until morning on this one. So, thanks again, everybody. Substack, Patreon, all that stuff. Just like, share, subscribe. Good night.